Hello, hello. So thank you for all joining again. This is the National Credible Messengers first quarterly meet and greet. So it is an honor to have you all here and joining us. So today it is being hosted by the Credible Messenger Justice Center. Myself, I'm Tiffany Branch. I am the program coordinator at the Department of Probation. And joining me is my co-host, Abdul Malik, and he'll introduce himself.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Abdul Malik, as Tiffany said, my sister said, and I work for the Department of Probation as well, and I am the resident credible messenger at the Bronx Neon. Just a little bit of my background. I came from a strong organization, the Bronx Clergy Criminal Justice Roundtable, as a program coordinator for Arches program, and then moved on into probation, where I've been employed for the last 5 years as the resident credible messenger. I look forward to the conversation today with everybody. Get comfortable and let's
kick it off.
Each other. Thank you, Tiffany.
Yes. So with that being said, I'm giving everyone the opportunity that's on this call. If you all have your cameras and mics on, that if you could have it on, that would be great. You got 30 to 90 seconds to just introduce yourself, your name, your organization. And then if your team is on the call, you could choose someone, out in the open, this is a discussion, who's a team lead that can speak to your organization, your services, and the population you serve. We want to keep the introductions and that whole introduction piece to just under an hour, because we have something really interesting planned. This is 2 hours. At 2 o'clock, we'll be taking a 5-minute break, 10-minute break, and then we'll be jumping back in. So if anyone wants to start, or you want me to choose people, however you want this to go, I could actually start with Carrie.
Hey y'all, I'm Carrie Leader with Houston Revision, and Houston Revision is a community partner. We are just in the very early stages of being one of the first credible messenger sites in Harris County. We're working alongside Harris County Juvenile Probation, so it's nice to be here today. We are in the middle of a state legislature. They only meet every other year in Texas, and I will have to jump off and testify for one of the bills that affects our young people, but really glad to be here with y'all.
Thank you, Carrie. And Dawn, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Tiffany. I'm Dawn Barnett from the Running Rebels Community Organization in Milwaukee. We've been serving young people in the Milwaukee area for 40 years, doing juvenile justice work for the last 23 years. Just serving as mentors, advocates, doing the work of credible messengers, but just joined the movement a couple years ago when Milwaukee County came out to New York, and we were part of the Credible Messenger Immersion Program. So we're glad to be here, and we have several of our advocates and credible messengers on the call today.
Thank you, Dawn. Felicia, how are you? I see you, beautiful.
Hello, how are you? I'm Felicia Williams with Westcare, Wisconsin. I'm with the LST program director, and I have been with Westcare now for approximately about 4 years. Westcare has been, used to be known as the Harambe Ombudsman Project, and we are now under the Westcare Foundation umbrella. I'm sorry, I had stepped away so what was just the introduction?
Yeah, just for right now, we're just doing introductions. We'll talk about services and the populations we serve in a minute. OW Angela. You're muted, Angela.
Yes, hello, Angela for Fox 83, Far Rockaway, New York. I'm an OW, outreach worker. Love my job.
All right, thank you, Angela.
Yeah.
Absolutely, thank you. Xavier Jennings, how are you?
How are you? How's everybody doing?
Good.
So I am a Reentry Resource Coordinator for the Department of Juvenile Justice here in Atlanta. I actually I was also a committed youth myself, where I did 3 years in juvenile detention center. And coincidence, I came over to start working with mentoring and the youth and making sure they have like the proper resources to not reoffend. So yeah, we're just trying to expand the Credible Messenger program down here in Georgia and for our youth down here down south. So
Thank you.
this part of the south.
Thank you. Hi,
Thank
Rod.
you.
Rod Mitchell.
Hey, how's it going? Rod Mitchell, running Rebels, Milwaukee County. Happy to be here and collab with you all in this Credible Messengers thing and get it kicked off.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Lindsay.
Hello, I'm multitasking.
That's fine.
Good afternoon. I'm Stacy Lindsay with Running Rebels Community Organization as well, Director of the Targeted Monitoring Programs that works with all of our court-ordered youth, working with Dawn and Rod.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Marvin Smith, Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon. I'm with Economic Opportunity Commission. We partner with Family and Children's Association and Youth Enrichment Services, and I am a parent partner with the Community Credible Messenger Initiative, where we work with families, and I'm excited to be here today.
Thank you. We're excited to have you.
Mr. Smith, where you from?
I'm from Suffolk County.
Thank you.
Thank
In the
you.
boonies, in the boonies.
All right now. Okay, Ebony Epps.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Ebony Epps. I'm the Program Director of Street Safe Bridgeport out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I have 2 of my team members on the line as well, and we're just excited to be here. I'll be on for about an hour, and then I have to run to another meeting, but it is so nice to see everyone and to be a part of this great meet and greet. Thank you for having us.
Excellent. Ebony, Bridgeport, I just moved here. I'm excited and I can't wait to meet you.
Yes, let's connect.
Yes. Okay, Akil.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry. My name is Aquil Crooks. I'm an outreach worker for Street Safe Bridgeport. Street Safe Bridgeport, what we do is we work with young adults from ages 14 through 24. Well, not just young adults, at-risk young adults, and we help them with mentoring, advocacy through core advocacy through schooling. We're all credible messengers ourselves, and we're just here to do the work.
Thank you. Welcome. We appreciate you. Mr. Dorsett.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm with the coalition in Houston, Texas. We're working with Harris County Juvenile Probation to implement the Credible Messenger program, as Carrie said. We're new to this. We haven't even, I think we've got our first Credible Messenger approved, and we'll be moving on for that. So excited to be here and learn from you experts today.
Thank you. Mr. Landry.
Hello, my name is Travis Landry. I'm the Regional Vice President for Westcare, Wisconsin. We are just getting into the start of the Credible Messenger program. I'm happy to be here. Happy to partner with all the partners in Wisconsin with Credible Messengers, and we've been doing youth services for 10 plus years, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. T. Ingram, my girl.
Hi, community. I'm Tanisha Ingram. Everyone calls me Coach T. I am a nonprofit coach, and I'm the founder of the Just Right Community Project. I'm also on the advisory board for the Credible Messenger Justice Center. So I wanted to just chime in here and let you know that I'm a part of your community, here to support you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Latif.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Latif Sanders. I'm with Rock Safe Streets Secure Violence Program here in Far Rockaway, Queens, New York City. It is a pleasure to be on here and meet everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Andre Ware.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andre Ware. I'm the program manager for youth engagement and mentorship at the Staten Island Justice Center, which is a project under the Center for Court Innovation. And I'm here with one of my staff members, Stephen McDonald. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Tony Anderson. Okay. You're muted. Mr. Anderson, we'll come right back to you once you, okay, there you go.
Okay.
How you doing? Okay, we'll come back to Mr. Anderson. Mr. Hodges.
Peace and blessings to everyone. My name is Fred Hodges. I'm out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. I work for an agency here called Family Reentry, and just glad to be part of something that's not going to be a moment, but a movement. I've been working with people who've been impacted by the criminal justice system for the last 12 years. Myself, I've been through the system and back out now, just feel that I have something to give back to the community where I took so much from, and I'm just happy to be a part of a real movement. Thank everyone, just glad to be here. Look forward to dealing and working with you more.
Thank you, thank you. That's what it's all about. Ms. Raphael, Donna Raphael.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Raphael. I am from CCMI Credible Messenger from Long Island. I am one of 4 partners that is probably on this call as well. I'm representing the Long Island, Nassau County, and we also have Suffolk County Credible Messengers. So we're here to learn, and we're excited to be a part of this. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for joining us. Mr. Sanchez.
Good afternoon, everybody. How you guys doing? My name is Joseph Sanchez, and with the New York City Parks Department. I'm one of the managers at Katona Park. I'm also the facilitator and the certified mediator. I do a lot of youth development programs. I've been funded by the DOP and Catholic Charities, to name a few, for doing some hip hop leadership, peace work, and conflict resolution. I'm also a doctoral student at Teachers College, Columbia University, with at the program with the community health education program. And yeah, I just want to thank Tiffany for inviting me, and I'm at your service. And a shout out to Bridgeport, man. Bridgeport is in the house.
Yes. Mr. Smith, did you go yet?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Miguel Terrell.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Miguel Terrell. Working with a partner organization called Youth Enrichment Service. I work with Marvin Smith and a couple other partners on here. I'm from Brentwood, New York, and I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody here.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm so excited to see so many jurisdictions and towns and cities in the building. So, thank you all. Nakia, whoever's under Nakia Running Rebels.
Hey, this is Nakia Solarchick from Running Rebels, and I am a credible messenger. And I'm just excited to be here with everyone and meeting everyone and getting ready to put in some great work. So I appreciate being here.
Thank you. We appreciate you showing up. Philip Marshall.
Hello, Tiffany. Thank you for inviting us. So I'm actually on something tangential. I'm working on elder justice. And I'm informed by the sad circumstances surrounding my late grandmother, Brooke Astor, who was from New York City, who was abused by her son, my father. And I came to, and so, it's all complicated, but it's a compact between society and self. And I'm so appreciated finding you online now along last year or so, but for your efforts to address the complexities of our shared world and healing.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us, Dennis.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Out of Bridgeport, Dennis Broadnax, Street Safe, one of the outreach workers. I'm just thankful to be here with all y'all and to lean on y'all and experience and my own experience and share this, and let's just get this kicking off. And we got work to do.
Absolutely. This don't stop. Tiangelo.
Tiffany, I just want to interject and tell people, if you have questions or comments, please use the chat. It is being monitored. So as things come up and you want to share, just, and if you want to put your information into where you're from, your name, put it in the chat so we can pay attention. I just saw that RIP DMX. Did you get a news update about that? Because I'm a hip hop junkie. So please, if that didn't happen yet, please don't put that out.
No, it's official now.
Wow.
It officially happened today, a couple minutes ago.
Wow. All right, we're gonna get back to business. We'll bow our heads for one of the pioneers in a minute. So just like I said, use the chat. It is being followed to put your name and information in the chat so we can follow it as you introduce yourself. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Tiangelo?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kwaku Tiangelo Cargile Jr. With the Milwaukee Health Department's Office of Violence Prevention. One of the first classes of credible messengers out of Milwaukee. I'm happy to be here. I'm the Youth Injury and Violence Prevention Coordinator for our health department.
Thank you and welcome. Thank you. Joyce Lewis, did Joyce go? Okay, let me see, these people's cameras are off, so I'm gonna keep going. It's a lot of people on the call. Wow, thank you all. Okay, so folks, if you have your cameras off, we're going through introductions right now. Don't miss your turn because we're about to jump into the meat of things. Damien?
Can I go ahead since I don't know if you see me?
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, my name is Dale. I'm with Opportunity Youth here in New York. I'm happy to be included in being a credible messenger. Shout out to all of y'all. Rest in peace to DMX.
Oh yeah, wow. Dang, that's hard. That's a hard cookie to crumble. Rest in peace. Almitra, hey.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here with everybody. My name is Almitra. I'm here on behalf of the Crisis Management System here in New York City. And I work at the health department overseeing the therapeutic services for our teams of credible messengers out there doing the good work. And I'm just glad to see everyone.
Thank you. I'm gonna go with Ms. Hollyman and then Ms. Alexander and then Ms. Arroyo.
Hello, everyone. I'm Arnita Holloman. I work in the city of Milwaukee's Office of Violence Prevention with Tiangelo, and I am the recast manager.
Welcome. Thank you. Ms. Alexander.
Hi, my name is Kat Alexander. I am actually a credible messenger in Buffalo City. We're just started from our city. I'm trying to see, either what information I learned for the team and stuff like that. I think I'm the only one from my team too, if I'm not mistaken, that's on board right now. So, I'm excited. Thank you, Tiffany, for inviting me. I'm excited to learn new things from each other. Maybe some feedbacks I can give back to the team, and vice versa. Maybe some of our feedbacks, can help you guys, So we're here to work as a team because it is a long journey.
It is, and it don't stop. It just continues. Is anybody representing Hempstead Snug?
I believe that they're on. Letitia?
Yes, we're here, Hempstead
Okay.
Snug. I'm the program manager, Letitia Fowler, and we're just here to, join and fellowship and, learn some new things. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Arroyo. I didn't forget you.
Good afternoon. My name is Queen. I am a program supervisor in Rock Safe Streets. We are part of the Cure Violence Initiative, Rock Safe Streets, like I said, in Queens. And we have some of our team here today. And I'm just excited. I'm open for what I'm going to learn, meet new people, because I get to see how strong we actually are. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward.
Yes, if I forgot anybody throughout the program, just interrupt me, introduce yourself. So we're gonna kick this thing off. And yeah, again, please put your information in the chat so I can download it later. Make sure you all are subscribed to the CMJC newsletter so you can keep abreast of what's going on. I see Miss Holmes over there.
Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
Hi.
All of y'all, really, it's really good to see all y'all and see my Cure Violence folks in the house. Robin Holmes Myers. I work with the health department with Amitra Gasper, and we provide the therapeutic services for the credible messengers in under the CMS.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
So we're gonna kick this off by, so we all know, we introduced ourselves and we know it's a variety of different states, jurisdictions, towns, cities, like I said earlier. But doing this, the credible messenger work, the most important thing I wanted to bring to this call today is, what are some of the challenges that you have faced? And once we discuss the challenges that we have faced, we're gonna go out into breakout rooms. We're gonna discuss the challenges and then things that we have done to overcome them. But we'll then go to breakout rooms for 30 minutes and we're gonna brainstorm some ideas and solutions, because every idea or everything that we come up with to face these challenges doesn't work for every other jurisdiction, because we all service different populations. The criminal behavior is different. The nationalities are different. I'm gonna put it all on the table and be truthful and honest. I'm from New York, so I know we got some of the most hardened young folks, but we managed to get through to them. So if you can, anybody, what are some of the challenges faced? Because there may be someone from another jurisdiction that has not faced that same challenge. So we want to hear from you.
I have one.
Sure.
So one thing I'm realizing is that, the apples don't fall from, too far from the tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like with these parents, because they've, and I'm a parent myself, so I get it, where a parent tries to tell another parent what to do with their kids, which I completely understand, right? What is a way that we can kind of get them to be more involved? Like, it seems like motivation and involvement is very hard to get from just any kids and family. Like, it's kind of like you gotta nitpick what they like to do, or like let them kind of openly show some talent or artistics or anything, in order for us to know what are their interests, because they're already kind of like closed office just because they have to deal with the system. So they don't really say much, you know what I mean? Just because of the comfort of how they have been raised.
So I'm gonna jump in with that, and I'll just give an example of at least some of the things we do here in the Bronx, right? At the Bronx Neon, and what I've done in the past. And when from my example, please, anybody else who has some suggestions for CAT, this is where we start to brainstorm and build on how do we overcome obstacles, and then as we move into the breakout rooms, we could have more of a detailed discussion and really take the notes and come up with some strategies that we'll document and share in this forum later on down the line. So one thing I want to say is that when there's no such thing as what you want to do to get a person to move forward, right? People move in their own space, in their own time. So what is it? I like to say, we're like farmers. We just plant the seed and cultivate the soil. And then and the soil is transformation, right? So all we're doing is all I would say is just be consistent in being open. And understand that, action, young people are in action if they're listening and not speaking, right? So it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to draw them out, because as a credible messenger, they're going to be drawn to you. And when they find their space, their comfortability to start to connect the dots, they're gonna be the ones that's gonna come and do the work. So for me, over the years, I've learned, because it was hard for me in the beginning, like I wanted to get to every young person. I wanted to save every life. And then I recognized that that's really not my role. My role is to facilitate. And in order to be a good facilitator is to be open and allow young people time and space, because everybody gets to their space and their time in their time, if that makes sense.
Does anybody else have anything to add? Well, I'll add something. Just this past summer, I facilitated the Summer Neon program under the Department of Probation, which is another first-time initiative for DOP. So hand claps to them. We always coming up with these first initiatives. So because there was no summer youth, we did summer youth and workforce together virtually. So a lot of the young people would not speak. So I had to come up with an innovative way to get them to speak. So yes, we did follow our curriculum. It's called On My Way. But during little bits and points throughout the whole 6 weeks, I was able to come up with like expressions through the arts. So they were able, I found what it was that they loved. So you had some rappers, you had individuals that like to cook, and you had musicians, you had singers. So ultimately, throughout the 6 weeks, just doing the curriculum and drawing that out of them, I came up with creating like a talent show. So this whole talent show, each young person, they did their thing. We had the young woman that played the piano. We had a gentleman who did a whole cooking segment for us from start to finish. Everything was video recorded. But that was like a week and a half prior to us ending. So they opened up over time, but once they did the talent show and they were actually able to show what they knew how to do and express themselves through what it is they love to do, they were so excited. After that, you couldn't shut them up. You could not shut them up. They were like complimenting each other. They were asking questions on, well, how you learn to play the piano? Where did you learn to cook? And you want to meet up after this call so you could teach me some techniques? Like, we have to understand they have their different ways of voice. They're, expanding their voice or contributing their voices, but it's up to us to help them find that way. So is there anyone else that has something to add, or anyone else that has had or seen a challenge?
I definitely have to add on to that, because I see what you mean by that.
I'm sorry, Go ahead. Who's that?
Xavier Jennings out of
Okay,
Atlanta.
Xavier.
So yeah, you have a really good point. And just to piggyback on you, many times, I will have to go to like different detention centers and just tell my story. And what we'll do, instead of you need to change this, this, and this, we'll figure out what their strengths are. Just from a conversation, you can tell a lot about a person and a lot about a person's strengths. So we'll play on their strengths. If youth has a passion for really wanting to join the military, so we will point them in the right direction as to what we have to do to make sure he gets in the military. If he has, he's outspoken and he has a voice, how can we get him to form, I guess, positive words of affirmation to spread on his dorm, so it can just be like a contagious effect for everyone on the dorm. So yeah, that's I just to piggyback on what you were saying, we play on their strengths.
So Miguel wrote in the chat, the pandemic definitely made this last year difficult when trying to connect with youth. So definitely want to speak to some of the challenges. For most of us as credible messengers, our best work, I like to say, our spaces is in the community and not in classrooms or brick and mortars. So and it's that in-person connection where we really transmit our energies. What are some of the tools that are being used other than the virtual realities? How have the group been able to address the issue of not being in person, or of being in person maintaining that whole consciousness of social distancing and maintaining the COVID protocols working with you. Anybody want to share?
I mean, for me, I still try to meet with kids in person, socially distanced, responsible myself. I try to find out basically what the kids are into, because as somebody said before, each person arrives at their own space at their own time, and then I try to find either that activity or the activity closest to it, but show them that I'm not just a virtual person. I am a real person. So I try as much as I can to do it in person. I find that works best for me.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree. You just got to get out and get it. It's you can hold on to the virtual as long as you could. It's been pretty much a year. We've been working virtually with these kids and so on and so forth, and feel like they burnt out on it. You know what I mean? They sitting in class all day. They therapy is virtual, just all these virtual things. And it seemed to me that they was kind of happy when we pulled up. Yeah, we social distances, CDC guidelines and all of that, but just to see that human interaction, you can kind of tell the difference from over that phone or FaceTime or what have you to pulling up at that house, talk to the kids, talk to the family. It was always like they was welcoming that, and it was it's received. So I definitely think within your comfort zones, if you could get out and get the streets and get out and get it and see them, definitely do that, because it makes an impact. I think for our program in Milwaukee County, I work with kids that are in corrections, and what we're losing is I can't get into, or my team can't get into the facilities anymore to see the kids before they get home. Now we talking about kids that's sitting in corrections for a year, 6 months, 9 months, what have you. Nobody's coming to see them. You know what I mean? And we were up there going to see them back and forth, and to not have that is a lot. It meant a lot to the kids to come up there and see them, because like I said, it's nobody coming to see them. So here we are, showing that support from that aspect. So just along the lines of what y'all speaking about challenges, it's definitely one of ours from Milwaukee County.
I don't mean to, I just want to jump in one more time. I just think that, like, as humans, we are all just like, I know, like, sometimes some of us are hermits, but that's that's not the norm, right? Like, one of the first things as humans we did was form societies by the Indus and the Nile and the Yangtze rivers and the Amazon, all that, because we need like that human connection. We need to be with each other. You know what I mean? And as my man Rod just said, it's like sometimes these kids get burnt out with the school, and they can't even see their friends. Sometimes they can't see their family. It's like, if we can, right, we just need to just, see them as much as possible, even if it's from a distance.
I'm gonna say I see a lot of people come who want to comment. If you can raise your hand, and then we'll just kind of plug you in. It is a popcorn. We're popcorning right now, so we're gonna keep it flowing, keep the flow. But just so that everybody, because I muted a few people. I don't want anybody to feel dejected or we don't want to pay attention to their what they want to speak to. So just raise your hands and I'll identify you just from the hand raising. So I have T. Ingram. You go ahead.
Hey, community. So I just wanted to pop in with a couple of suggestions, because as a nonprofit coach, one of the things I do is support people with now meeting with young people, meeting with their mentees, but doing that at a safe way. Because we're all zoomed out, right? I'm zoomed out. We're all zoomed out, right? So I wanted to give some concrete examples of safe outdoor activities that we could do, right? So one of the things is, we're in our communities all the time, but sometimes there's certain parts of our communities that we don't explore. So maybe like do a community scavenger hunt, right? You have a paper, you have different areas in the community that you want to explore. I'm in New York. A lot of young people in New York have never been to certain areas in New York. So that sort of works for us. So doing something like a community scavenger hunt could be cool. I also have done something called creating from a distance. The weather's getting a little nicer now. So maybe in the park, you do some art, or maybe you find a space that you can socially distance in, and young people can create from a distance, because art has really saved the lives of a lot of young people, adults too, but we know that they need art, right? So whether that's spoken word, whether that's collaging, whatever that is, let's create at a distance, right? And then I wanted to say something for the brother who I think he is working with young people who are actually in facilities, right? So one of my projects is based on letter writing. So if we can incorporate letter writing to young people so that they're at least getting some contact from us, like, yo, the community loves you. We still here for you. We can't see you physically right now, but we got you. So we do that at the Just Right Community Project. And I want to just encourage anyone who's working with young people in facilities that they can't see right now, please, please write them. Peace.
I'm going to be emailing you too.
Felicia?
Hi. Yes, I just wanted to share. I agree with Rod and T. Like, listen, we are so zoomed out, and with this social distancing. But with my program, we get out and we actually go and meet with the scholars. We call our youth scholars because they are educated and they are able to be educated. So when we go out, you know what, you're right, that human connection is everything. But when we go out, we take, because we run a food pantry here at our organization, we don't just work with the scholars, we work with the families, because it's not just so for those ones that's incarcerated or juvie or whatever, work with the families so the families know that we're genuine, that we're really out here, because yes, they have been duped by the system so many times that when, you know, they don't trust people. So when you build that trust with them, then they, you know, got a parent so mean, you know what, took her a couple of boxes of food, now I'm her best friend. Not that I'm looking to get something out of her, but just to let her know that we're here. And sometimes they don't know where the resources are. So we had to be the ones to help them find those resources. So just want to chime in and say that. Thank you.
So I just want to chime in too. Good point, Felicia, about resources. So what we did here in New York, myself and a bunch of individuals from other organizations, is we all documented resources that we knew of. We came together, we shared the information that we all brought to the table and make sure that it wasn't duplicated. And we put out a resource guidebook. So that's actually one idea that I wanted to bring to the table.
And through the arts, one of the NEON programs, in our early process doing our NEON arts programming up in the Bronx, one of the photography programs, what they did a community mapping using photography. And they went to different community spaces, whether it was the after school program, lunch programs, art programs. These are small community, all of the small community-based programming that aren't out there publicly, but are really doing the work in our communities, and they mapped it out. So the youth were able to map out through photography spaces that were available to them. So we always know the best messenger is your comrade, right? Is the person that looks most like you, or is most familiar to your, most familiar with your situation, but maybe just a step or two removed from it. So also allowing young people to kind of invest or engage in finding those spaces or sharing spaces that they find comfort in with their peers also helps to kind of build out and start to get young folks and community members to those spaces. I always believe that, when you talk about families, I heard somebody say that they do work with families and the young persons in general, that for me, or what I've done in my organizations and for probation, is working with the young person and really spilling into them and allowing their parents and family members to see change draws their family to the space, right? Because there's no family member that doesn't want to see their young person do better. And when they start doing better, they want to know, well, where are you going to get this information? Or where are you going that you're being cultivated and motivated to be better? I want to be there to support you. So one of those things is that the issues, I'm throwing this back at Kat, really about when you're engaging, there are issues that are internal with families, and then there's those the issues with the young person being external in the community, right? And as a credible messenger, I know for myself, I'm not a clinician, right? So I want to make that clear about credible messengers. Some of us are clinicians, most of us aren't. And we need to understand what our roles are in managing and helping young people find their voices in their spaces, and then making sure that we connect the dots to the right professionals who can take it to the next level for those who might need a higher level mental and emotional support. And then we're just there to kind of help, to be handholders, and then change our roles from being a manager to being a cheerleader, right? Because with the soft handoff to the next person who is more equipped to deal with certain information and certain situations that come up with the young people, we're just there to support, to make them comfortable as they transition to get the necessary support that they need to be better. So I hope that kind of answers that question. I wanted to jump. I just wanted to jump. I don't want to say pick on somebody, but bring attention to Philip, because Philip talked about aging, the aging population, and being in a space with us as young, most of us deal with youth, and we want to make sure that it's clear that credible messages, as he's identified, are not just, we don't just deal with youth, we deal with people and relationships. So hopefully he might have some suggestions as dealing with, his population of folks, with the elderly. What is he doing, or what can help, or what are some of his anecdotes dealing with the elderly that we can use? Because one thing, our youth don't always connect to the elderly, right? That's a gap that we need to fill, to make sure that that communication is there. And is there anything that Phil can share with us about in his work to kind of help us to be able to do better our work dealing with our youth?
Well, I really appreciate your approach. Thank you for asking about, and thank you for your context, because I really appreciate your approach in the context of what I will call, and you have to correct me if I'm wrong, and it depends on the age, but the folks I will call younger adults, and segue it off to older adults, realizing that those older adults are our future self. And that the younger adults, that's where we were, and whether we're lucky or unlucky, that's where we're coming from. And we have to remember that we can't. And I taught for 4 decades, and I taught at university, college, university, undergraduate, graduate. And I took a year off to advance elder justice back in 2015. And I went back to my institution, and we were having some diversity training or whatever, and it was actually quite constructive because it was so needed. But what got me was, I said, look, I didn't need to go off and go from coast to coast to coast to find out about ageism. That I understood there was ageism the minute somebody turns 18. At that point, they're an adult. And we still approach young adults as though they don't have a voice. And then, quite frankly, that starts early. 5-year-olds go to first grade. And so we always have this age-dependent situation. And so I'm spending a lot of time saying, look, ageism can start at 18. It can happen at 81. Seniors, whether they're high school seniors or anywhere near there, are as prone to ageism. And I think that your approach of respecting the individual, irrespective of their age and their circumstances, of realizing that they've probably been imposed upon by social harms anyway, that we have to look at it with an ageless lens, through that engageism, through going off and photographing the community, to understanding they're part of it, and they have both a view of that community and can gain a vision. And I'm going off, but I think there's a lot to explore with folks who you are messaging, and folks, young folks, and older adults.
Thank you. Anybody want to jump in on that? Because I see down here someone, Queen Esther, put in the building relationships and dealing with, in her population, they're dealing with children. So can anybody want to talk to the power of relationship building, and what are some of the ways they
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, you can. Go ahead, Dale.
This is direct. I'm sorry, this is a little directly to Philip, man. I mean, it's crazy that you're on this call. Like, I one day sat down as a younger person and watched a whole documentary on your family, right? For all y'all who don't know, Astoria, Queens, Astor Place in Manhattan, they're named after this dude's family, right? And it's such a tragic thing based on what he was saying about ageism, is that a member of his own family took advantage.
We can't hear you.
I said, to piggyback off of what he was saying about ageism, right? It's such a sad situation that, unfortunately for Philip, a member of his own family took advantage of his grandmother, I believe, to gain access to her money, right? And it was a lot of money from what I understand. And that happens in our society. I mean, there's a documentary series called Dirty Money on Netflix where they talk about how in certain states in the United States here, you can actually take an elder person's house, right, by calling yourself their guardian without their knowledge. That is crazy, and this is America. So I'm just saying that, you know, big up to Philip. I mean, I know most of the stuff, and big up to everyone on this call, but most of the people here, we're talking about youth, but you know, the elderlies are, and we're all gonna be elderly, hopefully one day, you know, is a forgotten population sometimes, you know.
Thank you. So I have a question. Actually, you know what? Since we are it's getting so interested, and I want to hear more. It's 1:50. How about we take a break until 2 o'clock? But I have a question for the breakout rooms, which are going to be 30 minutes. My question is, how do we bridge intergenerational gaps between older and young folks? What are some solutions? What are some ideas? Now we'll hit upon that when we return at 2 o'clock. Go grab a snack, get you some water, take a bathroom break. I'm super excited to hear what everyone has to say. And we're gonna go into breakout rooms after we discuss that for 30 minutes. Then we're gonna come back and share, and we're gonna wrap up with questions and answers and closing remarks, okay? Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had some meaningful discussions, and I cannot wait to hear what everyone discussed during their breakout session. So, Team A, I'm not, do you, you know what? Let's go with Miss Myers, Miss Holmes' team.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Do you know if you was in team A or B?
I think it was B, right, Amitra?
Okay.
I think so. I think the question, I mean, we went on a little bit of a tangent, but
okay.
So the question was, when working with a young person, do you get any pushback from the family?
Good. Yeah.
And so, you know, Amitra and I just kind of talked a little bit about when we were in those spaces, right? Because we work for the health department, so we're not in those spaces right now and working with young people directly. But I think what I was hearing, Angela and Aquil talked about, well, Angela talked about, like, she doesn't really deal with the resistance family. Is the family coming to her to say, please help my child or help my young person? So they come to her knowing, because what she does, they come to her to say, hey, I need help. So she doesn't really deal with the pushback. I think Aquil talked about some of the challenges, and I didn't write that down, but Amitra, you might want to help me out because I think I saw your pin going. So I'm not even really sure around any resistant, but you know, he's in a space where he really got, what I heard was, because I heard trauma, but what he's in a space where he has to just help them to survive, period, like to live, because he said he lost, I think maybe 3 or 4 of his participants, which was pretty, you know, pretty scary. And I was just kind of like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. So he was talking survival mode.
Okay.
You know, and you know, and then we kind of went a little bit into making sure that he is getting what he needs to continue to you know, do the work that he's doing, because this work can be very overwhelming. It can, you know, it can be very triggering. It's definitely traumatic. And especially when you're losing young people
Right.
that you're working with directly, you know, I just can't even go even further into that. But so that's all I have. Maybe Amitra want to jump in and add something.
No.
Yeah, you summed it up well. That was the conversation. Abdul joined our conversation towards the end. It was great just hearing the perspective of the persons that are doing the work. And yeah, so echo like the idea around the self-care, right? So whatever it is that we're doing to help others that are experiencing challenges, difficulties, crises, that we immediately, not later, not a year later, not 10 years from now, I'm gonna take a break, immediately do something to honor the fact that you were there. You showed up, you matter too, and you need to be there for the next person, because we the type of people that those things find us, right? And so we have to do what we need to do so that we are always ready. We have to take care of ourselves.
Thank you for sharing. That's one of the important parts or components about being a credible messenger is, you know, the impact we don't just make on young people. It's being able to surround each other and, you know, wrap our arms around each other and support one another. So thank you, Team B. That was Team B. Amitra? Okay.
I guess so. The letter part, I'm not sure. I know the question that we answered though.
Okay, no problem. If you know your letter, Team A was Team A. Anybody from Team A? Mr. Smith?
I think it was number 2.
I was in the room, Team A with Snug and Mr. Dorsett.
Yes.
And we took the question, how do you deal with family pushback? And we said that the family has dealt with so much trauma that when they see us coming after they've dealt with all of the other negative environment that they've had to deal with, now they see us coming and they're already on guard. And so we must lead by example. And someone from Snug said that we must be consistent in our dealings with them. And then if necessary, we must enlist advocates. We must have a solid plan when we are reaching out. We must be empathetic, not sympathetic, because if we're both crying, that's no good. We need to be empathetic, and that we must establish trust. Someone said that we must do what we say we are going to do, and everything that we present to that family, the child and the parents, we must be consistent if we're going to move them to the goal of self-sufficiency.
Absolutely. And could I add to that? We need to understand that no matter what you're thinking, we should be non-judgmental.
Absolutely.
That will stifle progression or any kind of relationship. So yes. I thank you for that.
Yes.
Team C. And I'm just going to say, hey, Philip, I don't know what team you are, but can you elaborate on what you discussed with your team?
I can jump in if you don't mind, Philip.
Okay.
Andre, thank you. Andre's Andre's going to channel us.
Thank you.
Sounds good. I don't know if I can do us justice with the amazing, responses that we got in regards to 2 questions. The first question being, how would you bridge the intergenerational gap when working with young people? And the second question being, how can you best support youth and their families after they're returning from detention, I believe. So if I'm like paraphrasing that a bit. And really, in my mind, I'm merging our answers because I think that, our approach to these questions are a bit similar. The overarching theme is, being genuine with our young people. I think that is first and foremost being genuine in the sense that, you know, letting them know that we don't know everything. As educators, as mentors, we make mistakes. We, you know, we're not perfect, and we're there to listen. And I think that, well, not I think, I think this is a consensus from the team, that once you're able to, you know, show that you're genuine, that you care for their well-being, that you are willing to listen to them at 2 a.m. if need be, you know, you're willing to be that support network no matter the times. And of course, there are boundaries that you must have with young people. But once they sort of realize you're an actual resource that they can reach out to, then when it comes to, you know, giving advice, you giving advice to them, they'll be more willing to listen. And we were also discussing, you know, slightly different point on how our young people, you know, they've been through so many, you know, for a lot of them that we work with, especially at the Staten Island Justice Center, a lot of them have had different providers, have gone through the system for many years, working with, you know, different community organizations, with different POs, you know, everyone in the system. Now, by the time they get to you, and even if you show that you care, and even if you show that you're genuine, it's still difficult to build that bond with young people and their families because they're burned out. And so that takes time. There's nothing you can necessarily do to rush that, except for, you know, show that you are showing up for them, and that you're making the extra, that you're taking the extra steps to provide for them. And I think that would be the best way for both young people and adults to come around. Let me know, Philip, Kat, Nakia, if I'm missing anything in that, but generally that's what we spoke about.
I feel like you did a good job. Definitely did a good job on expressing what we talked.
Oh, thank you so much. Anybody else want to contribute before we move to another team? No? Okay. So, okay. I'm just going to randomly throw out a name, hoping you're not a part of the same team. Rod, have you contributed yet? I saw you doing a lot of talking. I was like, yes, got him.
I seen that coming a mile away, I swear. Yeah, I was like the kid trying to duck down in the back of the room. One, shout out to the team, because it was a lot of really, really good stuff. And like Andre said, I know I'm not going to capture everything that went on, but the first question we tackled was that the difficult parent piece. And just on the consistency of it, it's consistency first and foremost. You got to be consistent. No missing opportunities. We had a brother that said he was just listening really, really tough to a conversation he was having with a parent, and just happened to hear that a young lady, her baby didn't have any diapers. Didn't make a big deal out of it. Didn't, you know, wasn't for the glory of it or whatnot, but just ran in COVID, ran to the store, hit Target, got Pampers, dropped them off like, hey, they on the porch. So that it went from difficult parent to a really, really strong bond. And those types of things, not missing those opportunities, definitely help bridge those gaps. Another thing that we definitely said was building that trust up. They deal with so much. We deal with so much in the system, and just these program or what have you, and everything's kind of the same. The spiel, the pitch is always the same. We want to do this, we want to do that, you know, what have you. But just really, really drilling it down and like going back to it, being consistent. We had a young lady, T, came in and said, while you having these pitches and whatnot, being honest and transparent about what you can and what your organization can offer. We don't want to just be saying we can do this and do this and do that, and then when it comes time to it, you lose because you weren't able to offer this service. You weren't be able to get housing. You weren't able to get, you know, certain things. That's another way to help that difficult family. One of my comments was definitely when you came in, I was speaking on it, just listening. It's going to be some bad language come out of some of their mouths, but behind that bad language is a cry for help, a window into what's really going on. And if you can get past the F's, the F bombs, and all of that, and just listen to what's going on, you might be able to help out. Sister Queen said she was talking about just being real. You can't go to the door faking it. You know what I mean? Real, recognize real. It just is what it is. You hate to bring that element into what we do, but it's what it is. If they can feel you, you're gonna be able to work with them. You know what I mean? If it's a heartstring connect or a conversation connect or whatever, what have you, you're gonna win that way. That difficult parent becomes a ally, sort of a partner. We also spoke about some of those parents being partners in this thing and really engaging. Talking about educating them for the long run, and just really, really drilling down into that family in a different way. Brother Fred Hodges was speaking about being real with those families also, and what he said. We asked about quotes, not being a role model, but being a real model and doing it that way. And parents really, really respect that. Those families, those communities really, really respect that. We got so far, we moved off into bridging those generational gaps. And the brother was talking about, that was Fred talking about, using those commonalities and using that consistency and being real to help bridge those gaps. We had the brother Vissel, I don't know if I'm saying his name right or what have you, but he was also speaking about programs just being programmed to be programs, if that make any sense. Curtailing what comes into your community, not just allowing anything or anybody to deal with your community, but really, really being involved in what comes there. Is this a need? Do we need more, whatever it is you bring in? Is that really going to help out our situation? Because that also agitates parents. You know what I mean? If it's more of the same and it's not doing anything, really curtailing that and stopping that off, heading off at the past, like, nah, we don't really need any more of that. We need such and such and such. We need more programs that's job orientated. We need more community outreach and what have you. Do we got family nights? Do we have spaces for those parents to come down and be a part of that and feel a part of it, not just picked on for a number, picked on for a situation or what have you, but being a part of what's going on and in turn, being engaging in a different way. We want to engage that family. And Stacey was talking about having that parent come to you and say, hey, I'm not on probation. My kid is, you know what I mean? But laying it out in orientation and saying that, hey, this is what we do. We're going to really, really need you on board. We're going to really, really have some rough conversations. I know it's uncomfortable that we coming into these houses, we pulling up, we doing what have you, but just know that we're here to help and laying it all on the table from the jump and just telling them like, it's not going to be an easy thing, but we're here to help. Hopefully you get a ray of sunshine, you get a little piece out of that young man, maybe make up his bed, maybe he did the dishes or, what have you, and building off of those little successes. Hopefully you can get a difficult parent, on board. For the team, I hope I captured that. I know we got a very small piece and it was really, really a whole lot of very, very good conversation. I try to get everybody's pieces and quoting that thing. So hopefully I did y'all some justice.
Yo, your brain is like a computer. That's everything. You covered everything.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Rod. Thank you. So anyone else from any other team would like to share? I didn't have have track of who was on which team, but anyone else? Mr. Sanchez, your team, you, Floss, anyone?
Yes, B. Floss and Miguel, and also we had Steven joined us a little late. But our team kind of summarized we answered the question, how do we bridge the international gap? And just to summarize, we said through culture, Floss and Miguel has some real great examples of how they've engaged the youth through culture, through music and through food you know, Floss, he could speak for himself, but he mentioned he's a DJ, and he has this DJ, he creates this DJ relationship, conversation with the youth, and inspires youth, and that brings them all on the same level. He also said that through the food, serving food in the community brings people together and just gets everybody interacting. Also, Miguel mentioned basketball and just doing other activities. So whatever activities we have as adults that we're passionate about and we practice that as a hobby, if we could share it with the youth, we're going to engage them and create some type of relationship. We also spoke about the importance of having trust and building trust, which is really what you're doing. But I think one metaphor that really stuck to me that was really interesting was Floss mentioned that or Miguel mentioned that he listens to his youth's music, which is something that I don't do. And he was like, oh, just by listening to their music, it bridges the gap. And I was like, wow, that's pretty incredible, because just the power of listening to a youth, whether it's music or just anything, giving them that attention, you could bridge the intergenerational gap. I was about to say international. But anyway, Floss, please jump in, and you could, share your example, and Miguel also, and Stephen, share your examples of how music and culture helps us unite the intergenerational gap.
Yeah, well, you pretty much hit it on the nose. Like I told in the group, I'm a DJ, so it's my job to pay attention to music, whether it's an old school song or the newest song out. And the kids nowadays, mainly all the kids I know, music is everything to them. They know all the newest songs, they know word for word. So when we do events and I bring music out, they're normally coming to me, telling me to play the newest music. So me as a DJ, I have to have it. And if I have it, they kind of build a bond with me because they like the fact that I'm going to have everything they want to hear. Even though I got to edit the songs due to the younger kids, but it kind of like they don't see an age if I know their music. Even pop-up barbecues we give food to the community. So the kids don't see an age no more. There's no more, he's this age, he's way older than me. It's, that's Floss. He he a hot DJ, or he this or that. And it builds a relationship with them where they communicate with you on other levels. When they're angry about something, I've got phone calls 3 o'clock in the morning from the youth. I'm mad at this, I want to go do that or whatever. And I can talk to them, let alone go and meet them somewhere and talk them down. So music, sports, food, that kind of bridge the gap. They don't see age. They see a person that relates to them. So
that's dope. Thank you so much. I want to just add to that and let you know we have 5 minutes left, so we're going to be wrapping up. But just to add to what you said, Floss, not only just, through food and music and all of that, but also letting them hear older musicians. That's another way. Introducing them to older musicians. Or another thing that I did when I was working with my youth was I took them to senior homes. We served food to the seniors. We played checkers and games and different things like that. They heard testimonies and stories from older folks. So that was another way of me bridging that gap, that intergenerational gap.
I actually mentioned that in the group. I said there was a time when the office was open before COVID where I had a music situation going on, and I would play old school music, and you'd be surprised how much of the old school music these kids know.
No,
because
exactly.
The new school music is made off of the old school. So they'll know the song, and they're like, well, Jay-Z made that. And I'm like, well, no, the original comes from this, but Jay-Z sampled it and did it over. So you'd be surprised what they know.
Absolutely. So everyone, I am sorry, we got 5 minutes left, and this has been so enriching, powerful. Just, I love it. I love the aura. I love the energy that everyone has brought to this meeting. Anyone has any questions for me or Abdul? That's 1. 2, I'm going to be sending out a survey on Monday. It'll be a couple questions, no longer than 2 minutes. Please fill that out. 3, if you have any quotes, please drop a powerful quote in the chat box or email it to me at tbranch@cmjc.org. I put my email in the chat as well. Next up, I want to mention that CMJC does a lot of stuff. So our next webinar, actually what we discussed today segues into our next webinar, which is healing through the arts. So we're going to talk about, you know, how to work with young people and how we do this through the arts. So that'll be posted within the next week with the registration link and the date, which will probably be May 5th. We're banking on May 5th. Next, as for the next Credible Messenger learning community, it will be focused on, it's going to be quarterly. So we're going to do it in the next 3 or 4 months. And it's going to focus on 3 individual groups that have faced challenges. And of the 3 groups, 2 of them face challenges, but 1 of them have had high successes. And I guess I'll determine which groups, and we'll try to finagle, you know, the conversation and focus the agenda on that and really do a deeper dive and have deeper conversations on how to attack, you know, or, you know, how do we attack this? What to do, especially during COVID and post-COVID. Because once everybody is vaccinated and whatever comes about of the whole, you know, pandemic, we're going to be heading back into office if people are not already in office. My agency is only 50% of the way there, so we still got 50% to go. But I thank you all. This has been so dope.
Sorry, Tiff, I didn't want to interrupt. You had Dennis. He had his hand up, so I think he had a.
Oh, I didn't see him. Okay, yeah, Dennis. Yes, I can help you.
No. I'm all right.
You sure?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
okay.
Ma'am. Been very enjoyable.
So, Abdul, if you have any closing remarks, everyone email me. Listen, Bridgeport, I'm here. Let's keep this work going. I'm available. Go ahead, Abdul.
So I want to say thank you to first, thank you, Tiffany, for allowing me to be a part of this conversation with you on a larger scale. For those for all the credible messengers and program coordinators and all the different titles and folks that's in the room, thank you for coming. I'm so proud to be a part of these conversations because I've been, like they say, I'm an OG in the room because I've been doing this since some of the beginning. Another time where I'll share my story with you guys. Just one thing I wanted to share that I heard, over the course of the meet and greet was, as we talk about being credible messengers and our role to kind of help fix. I want to just throw this out there that credible messengers, we don't fix problems. We facilitate change.
Yes.
And when we are in a space where we can help young people help themselves and become their own best advocates, is where our successes grow. I would always say our conscious thoughts should always be around the words we choose and the thoughts we make our energy and make our purpose in guiding young folks or to a better space. So for that, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Do the great work you guys are doing. I hope if there's anything I could be of assistance with, reach out to Tiffany. Tiffany can find me, and I will be available to you guys. Have a great weekend. God bless everybody, and I look forward to seeing you guys in other spaces. Peace.
Thank you. Salute, everyone. We are out. Enjoy your weekend. Oh my God. Yes, enjoy your weekend. Appreciate you all.